Let's go and talk with an old friend, Ben Cohen, one of the founders of Ben and Jerry's Ice Cream. You might be familiar with it. Ben, welcome back to the Young Turks.
Cenk, baby, what's happening? Hey, my cough. I got to deal with my cough here. All right.
I don't think you do.
Don't you send makeup down here if I'm going to do a show by Skype?
No, we don't. We don't have makeup here, let alone in Vermont. And your hair is an homage to Bernie Sanders, so it's okay.
I guess you're right. Yeah.
Right. Like your ice cream. So you got a new Bernie Sanders flavor coming out, but before we get to that, I want to ask you about how that works, because you guys sold Ben and Jerry's. So when you get a new, I was just curious about this. When you get a new flavor out, what does that mean? What do you guys do with it?
Well, this flavor has come out under the Ben's Best label. That's my own ice cream label. It's not associated with Ben and Jerry's, although I am indeed Ben and Jerry is indeed Jerry. But this is not Ben and Jerry's. This is Ben's Best. And we came out with Bernie's Back, which is a hot cinnamon flavored ice cream that represents holding politicians' feet to the fire. There's a butter toffee spine that I molded by hand in the shape of a spine going down the middle. It's very stiff because Bernie's got a very stiff backbone. He ain't gonna sway in the wind. He's gonna be steady like he has been for the last freaking 40 years. And on top is that same big old chocolate disc covering up the whole entire top, representing all the money that's flowed up to the top 1% over the last 10 years. And, the amazing thing about this flavor, and I don't want to, push you out of the conversation here, Cenk. I know that I'm kind of monopolizing, but, you monopolize a lot yourself. But the amazing thing about this flavor is that it reminds you exactly of an atomic fireball that you used to suck on when you were 8 years old. I mean, you did suck on an atomic fireball when you were 8 years old, did you not?
I don't think I did, actually. Partly because at 8 I was largely in Turkey.
Something or what?
At 8, when I was 8 years old, I was in Turkey.
Well, you probably didn't have atomic fireball.
We didn't even have bubblegum.
8-year-old in the United States, born and bred here in the United States, sucked on atomic fireballs, and it's this hot cinnamon flavor. And by the time you're 10, you stop doing it because it's not much. The flavor doesn't have a whole lot of depth, shall we say. But the amazing thing is that when it's combined with ice cream, and I believe I am the first guy in history to figure this out, and it was a total by accident. I wasn't planning on it. Tasting so good, it tastes great. It's incredible. It's hot cinnamon in ice cream, which is kind of cool, and it's creamy instead of that, sickly candy kind of thing. It is all natural. Just like Bernie. It's a great flavor. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this becomes the new vanilla. Everybody's going to be making this. I'm going to be like the new vanilla.
Okay, so one of the things I love about you, Ben, is your enthusiasm. So your enthusiasm.
Do it all the way. I mean, be out there, be in it.
That's right.
Rock, roll.
So I love your enthusiasm for ice cream and your enthusiasm for Bernie Sanders, and that's why you're one of his campaign co-chairs. And I get the play on words. Bernie's back.
That's right.
And back. I got it.
You were sharp. I always knew you had something going on up there.
And you're going to be shocked to find out that when Ben and Jerry first started, that Ben did the marketing for the company. I'm not at all surprised by that.
Yeah, after I was the scooper and then the truck driver, I became the director of marketing. That's correct.
That's right. Well, look, I started out here as the lugger.
Yeah, same thing. I looked around 4 16-pound tubs at a time. I'm no longer capable of doing that.
Yeah.
But Yeah.
I could still lug a thing or two, but okay. So Ben, we can't get this at Walmart or anything, right? It's only a limited amount. How do people get it?
You go to justiceinallitsflavors.com, justiceinallitsflavors.com, and you enter the raffle to get one of the somewhere between 10 and 40 pints that I am going to make by hand. Each pint is going to be signed and numbered. And you win the raffle, and then you sock this pint away in the bottom of your storage freezer for the next 20 or 30 years, and then you sell it on eBay, and you take the big vacation, man. I mean, 10 to 40 pints. I mean, that's not a whole lot of pints.
And that's true.
It's world out there.
Very limited edition, and or what you could do is, well, there's two things. You could pop it open, as it were, if Bernie wins the presidency on that night, right? Or, well, if Bernie wins the presidency, then it's gonna be worth a lot of money. You save it for later.
Well, when I'm out there on the trail, I'm the intro act for Bernie, and I tell people that when we get Bernie elected, and I become the minister of ice cream, I promise a pint in every freezer, a sundae in every bowl. And I am promising here right now to you in front of the entire Young Turk audience, when we, at the inauguration of Bernie Sanders, I will provide Bernie's back ice cream for everybody there.
All right, big bold promises. Just like Bernie Sanders, big bold promises. If I was John Delaney or John Hickenlooper, I'd say, oh, there's no way you could do that, Ben. There's no way.
I can do that. I am the ice cream dude.
So, all right. So one last thing about the ice cream, then I want to actually talk to you about Bernie Sanders. So when you enter the raffle, are you donating to Bernie or something? How do you enter the raffle, or it's just free for everybody?
I think it's one of those deals where no donation is required. I think there's a lot of that, fine gobbledygook lawyer print, and it requires no donation.
All right, that's mighty lib of you. Okay. So let's talk about Bernie for a second. So obviously you're a big fan, and you've known him for a long time because you're both from Vermont. So I forget if we talked about this before. When did you first meet Bernie Sanders?
I think I met him at his victory celebration in the basement of Memorial Auditorium in the early 1980s. When he won his first election for mayor by 10 votes. He unseated a long-term incumbent machine, old crony Democrat, and he turned the city around. Just about the first thing he did was that when he came into power, the old crony dude before him had essentially put wheels in motion to sell the entire waterfront of Burlington to developers to make high-end, high-rise condominiums. And Bernie said, no, there is such a thing as the right of public access, and all the people of Burlington should have access to the lake. And he shut it down. They took him to court. He won. And today we have the most beautiful public park along the lakefront in Burlington because of Bernie.
So I assume that you gravitated towards this campaign, and hence you were there when he won, because you're both very progressive. But the conservatives will say, or even oftentimes conservative Democrats will say, no, you got to do those big business deals. And if you don't do the business deals, then the town suffers, and you libs don't understand how this thing works, and et cetera. So what did happen when Bernie was an executive, when he ran the town of Burlington? Did things in fact suffer, or did they flourish?
The amazing thing was that he created a very vibrant business climate. He started the Community Economic Development Office. He started the first land trust in the city, in the country, I believe. He was working on affordable housing. This was during the era that Ben and Jerry's flourished, that Seventh Generation flourished, that Burton snowboards flourished. He create. It was during his watch that the whole Church Street Marketplace, a very, very successful pedestrian marketplace on the main street of Burlington, grew up. The guy is. It always amazes me that he calls himself a socialist. I mean, the dude is a capitalist through and through. I mean, he believes in small business. He believes in businesses that have a sense of social responsibility, like Ben and Jerry's, like Seventh Generation, like Dr. Bronner's, like Patagonia. I mean, like millions of small businesses out there that care about their employees, that care about the environment. What he doesn't believe in is rapacious, giant corporations, like Walmart, that's making billions and billions of dollars in profit and is not paying their employees a livable wage. I mean, it shouldn't need to be the case that you need to have Bernie out there calling for a $15 an hour minimum wage. It should be that businesses care about their employees and they're paying them a decent amount of money.
Yeah, last thing, Ben, because you call yourself a caring capitalist from time to time, and I like that, and I hope I'm the same. People think like, oh, Bernie's very popular in Vermont because Vermont's so liberal, but you guys have a Republican governor and have elected many Republicans. Is it possible that Bernie Sanders is popular in Vermont not necessarily because of how progressive he is, but because of how successful he has been in that state?
That he's. I didn't understand the question.
Yeah, that people in Vermont perhaps like him because they like what he did in Burlington. They like what he's doing as a senator more than because he's a liberal.
What they like is that here's a guy. I hesitate to use the word politician because he's not a politician in the usual sense of the word. He is a fighter for justice, economic, social, racial, and environmental, and he uses politics as a means to that end. I mean, so what they love about Bernie is that this is a guy who's sticking up for the little guy, the regular guy on the street, who cares about getting health care for everybody, who cares about making higher education affordable, who cares about the things that regular everyday people are concerned about.
Yep.
And it's clear in the way that he runs his campaign that, he doesn't take any money from huge corporations and the ultra wealthy. I mean, he is looking to represent regular everyday Americans. Most every other politician in the country is not representing their constituents. They're representing the money. They're representing the people who finance their campaigns.
Yep.
So that's, Bernie can't be bought. That's what people love about him.
There you go. All right, Ben and Cohen, one of the co-founders of Ben and Jerry's Ice Cream, also a wonderful activist in getting money out of politics. In this case, you can get Bernie's back by entering the raffle and justiceinallitsflavors.com. Ben, as always, a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for joining us.
Cenk, I've been looking at you on the screen. I have to say, tonight, you are looking beautiful, baby.
Thank you, Ben. I appreciate it. My dream one day is to get a flavor named after me, although God, I don't know what it would be. So good luck with that one. All right. Anyway, Ben, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it, brother.
Take care.
You
Bye-bye.
too.